I really feel like defensive coordinators have kind of passed offensive coordinators as far as how to control a game, and
I
that's why
agree.
we're seeing less Patrick Mahomes 400-yard games. We're seeing quarterbacks throw for less yards than we ever have, and I think it's because defensive coordinators have just gotten smarter.
They'll make it known they're a better team, but they're not going to put up 45 points on you to
Right.
your 20. So that has me a little bit concerned about this bet. Not them winning, but just that this could be like a 2-point game where they get the ball back, bleed the clock out, and then they win, but they don't cover.
I just don't think that they can afford to lose a divisional game. This line is at -5.5, but it could easily be -6.5 to me.
It's going to work. The Lions at Baltimore, at Ravens. This is right now at least. The Ravens are favored by 4.5. I think the Ravens cover in this game. I think the Ravens have maybe the best, we'll call it overall offense and defense, that combination in the league, or at least their top three. I trust that their offense knows their identity. I'm not 100% sure after Ben Johnson leaving the Lions. I'm not sure if this is going to be a Jared Goff led team or if they're going to go back to the run game. Game one, it looked not great. And we just found out the Packers are just a really good football team. And then game two, they beat up on the Bears, and the Bears are the Bears. So it's like, I don't know what to expect from that or take from that. And so this is going to be, in my opinion, kind of the second test of the season for the Lions. I think that the Ravens played the Bills, and I know they lost the game, but for 3.5 quarters, it looked like the Ravens were probably going to be the Super Bowl favorites
Right.
until it just all kind of collapsed. And so, in my opinion, I think Lamar probably has the best quarterback season of all of these guys. Hopefully, he doesn't run into Josh Allen in the playoffs again, and maybe he can get over that hump. But in my opinion, the Ravens are probably the best offense from running and passing standpoint. Even like DeAndre Hopkins is coming back to life a little bit, which has been interesting to watch. So,
Mhm.
in my opinion, give me them to cover. I think this ends up being like a 10 to 14 point game. It won't start that way, but that's probably where it ends up.
So the last time the Ravens played the Lions was 2 years ago, and the Ravens won 38-6. And
Hmm.
it's kind of one of those stats where you look at Lamar's stats versus NFC teams that they hardly ever play, and he goes absolutely bonkers against these teams every single time. The last time he played, 21 for 27, 357 yards, a couple touchdowns. He just against these NFC teams they don't play against very often. He just always has those games where he might have 200 yards passing, he might have 80 to 100 yards rushing. He's gonna make somebody on defense look stupid, and he's just gonna have one of those dazzling games. And Derrick Henry has his 100 yards rushing. I really do like the Ravens to cover in this one too. The Lions, I think a lot of people are gonna have fool's gold when it comes to playing against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And they're just that designated team this year where everybody's going to be able to regain their confidence against them, or you're going to have some bright spots and good stat games against Chicago. That's just because of what it is. They have to pass the ball too much. Caleb Williams gives the ball away too much, and they just don't score. And so even if you're only scoring 30 or 24 points against the Bears, they might only score 10 to 14. And
Hmm.
so the Lions, who won 52-21 last week, and I mean that game, I mean the 21 points that Chicago scored, it was still like no pressure involved, there's no ante to it. And now you playing against the Ravens, who every single possession you have to worry about Lamar and Derrick Henry. There is no margin for error versus a team like the Ravens compared to what you had last week. And for that alone, I'm taking the Ravens 4.5, and I would honestly even push that to 5.
Yeah, well, I think that the Detroit Lions have to find their identity on offense. I think that defense is solid enough. The Ravens know what they're going to be elite at. We're going to be a running threat who can stretch the field, and we are not afraid to stretch the field with Lamar. The If we rely on Jared Goff, this matchup specifically, if we rely too much on Jared Goff, the Ravens can control the tempo and the pace and time of possession by being able to run the ball and get first downs. If you have to throw the ball, if Jared Goff has to throw the ball 40 times to win this game, I just don't like my chances. I don't think it's a roster issue. I just think that you look at the other side when they get the ball, they're going to have the ball a little bit longer. They're going to be able to get exactly what they want on offense. That offense will be rested, and I think it ends up just wearing down on the Lions having to stretch the ball down the field over and over and over via passing. So I don't know how creative you can get when it's third quarter and your quarterback started throwing the ball 29 times. I don't know how much more creativity is left in the bag. And so just for that alone, it's like, give me Lamar. I'll take that. I'll take that team, that roster, that defense, that offensive line over the Lions, and they're certainly to cover.